What's up, everybody? Spoiler talks Superman. Let's go. Hey! Alright, so I let it simmer for a few days. I wanted to go ahead and talk about the spoilers, guys. I wanted to talk about the movie just all entirety without just having to watch my tongue whatsoever. Alright, guys, so Superman, man. Like, here we go. Alright, so I did a non-spoiler review. Guys, I really liked this movie. I enjoyed it. It was a fun experience at the theaters. Um, on top of it, of course, I had my brothers with me. My father even came and we watched it. We watched it all together, boys' night, man. Great freaking time. And it was a good movie, but that doesn't mean it didn't have its flaws. So that's what we're going to talk about everything, guys. All right, so this movie, guys, starts off with Superman in the midst of it. Now, when James Gunn said that this was going to be more like Star Wars versus kind of the way Marvel has done things, when the movie starts, you get big writing on the wall, right on the screen, right? I don't know why I said wall, goofball, on the screen. Kind of letting you know where you are, what's happening, where is it taking place. Similar to Star Wars, right? Put you in the midst of it. And this is Superman 3 years after being Superman. So he's kind of in the midst of it. It looks like we're already jumping into a movie, right? We're already jumping into something already going on. And what happens is it starts off, you got Superman versus the Hammer of Baravia. And the Hammer of Baravia ultimately turns out to be Ultraman, which is, of course, a clone of Superman, which we all know. And Superman is getting his ass kicked. And that's something that you're going to have to get used to. It was kind of bothering me a little bit of the movie, despite the rest of the movie still being good. And I enjoyed David Cornsweet as Superman. But Superman gets his ass kicked a lot in this movie. Something we're not used to seeing. I don't think Henry Cavill got his ass kicked at all, really. Except for Batman. But I mean, so it was definitely different to see Superman kind of getting manhandled the way he was. But if you think about the circumstances, he's fighting his clone. Makes sense, right? I mean, he's meeting somebody with that can match him. And of course, he was created by Lex Luthor, which Lex Luthor found the strand of his hair, and Ultraman is, of course, just a carbon copy of David Cornsweet with long hair. And Lex Luthor is doing everything in his power to be able to stop Superman. It seems like he even has like these gamers that are in on his tower, where they're just like, he's like E1, A17, and he's like, and they're putting different moves, I guess, with Ultraman controlling him and he predicted Superman's moves. I mean, it's pretty genius, man. And Nicholas Hoult is just straight up diabolical in this movie, man. I thought he did a great job. He was a little whiny at times, but of course, that was written for him. However, Nicholas Hoult, man, when he's just at his most menacing, guy kills it. Guy kills it. A plus, man. But the casting was great, guys. David Cornsweet, of course, fantastic as Superman. Uh, I mentioned in my non-spoiler, it's just he brought his personality, man. He's kind of conflicted. It's a different version of Superman that we're kind of used to. This is Superman. He's very young. He you know, he's kind of struggling, just like the same things like we do as humans, right? Fears, doubts, which way to go, different things like that, right? And so he's struggling, which he's conflicted with a lot of different things, and it makes sense. I mean, it's showing the humanity side of Superman, which I did like. However, he was a little whiny as well. Uh, but then, of course, as the story progresses, you find out that Baravia is a country that Superman intervened between two countries about to go to war. And this is an obvious. I remember leaning over to my father and I was like, these two countries are obviously not Palestine and Israel. but, but yeah, I get it. He's adding a political part. And Superman stopped and intervened and stopped the war, going to stop people. But of course, this was all part of Lex Luthor's plan, to be able to kind of get into the Fortress of Solitude, to be able to find ways to destroy Superman, which he already has Ultraman whooping that ass. So, uh, it was interesting. And then, you know, of course, the Hammer Bravia, it was just an outfit that Ultraman was wearing. So Superman, of course, dealing with that. Then you know, Lex Luthor is trying to distract him. He sends out the kaiju. Kaiju comes big, and then that's when we meet the Justice Gang. Now, the Justice Gang, I did like the Justice Gang. Now, it was kind of cheesy in some parts, but that's the James Gunn humor, you know, and I get it. Look, this is very comic booky, and you know, and that was one thing I was worried me is James Gunn humor getting in the way, and it does in some moments, right? I felt like they crack jokes when they don't need to, but Guy Gardner, man, steals the show, and then Mr. Terrific was my favorite character in this whole movie. Guy Gardner, he's just a shit talker. He's kind of running the gang, I guess you can call it. Hawkgirl was good too, but Miss Terrific, man, stole the show. Miss Terrific decides to go against Guy Gardner's wishes and helps Lois Lane to try to find Superman. Because Superman uh, turns himself in because he wants to clear his name. Because when Lex Luthor goes into the Fortress of Solitude, and this is the part that's controversial for some folks, but I think I thought it was a good idea, where the message that Superman has of his parents are pretty much Bradley Cooper playing, I believe it's Kal-El, or Jor-El, playing Jor-El, and he pretty much is telling him, like, you're going to conquer this planet, you're going to have as many wives as possible. I mean, if you think about it, I mean, I'm sure he probably drew some inspiration from, like, Invincible, right? Omni-Man, and kind of like that planet that has, like, these super beings. I mean, in most cases, that's probably what happened. But Superman, this shows you the goodness of Superman. I thought James Gunn, that's what he was going for in with that message, was saying, like, you know what, despite his parents who are keen and dear to him, and that's what they were saying, which he never heard until Lex Luthor, of course, transcribed it. You know, I mean, it makes it conflicting. Like, man, it kind of makes me question, like, who I am and who my true nature, what my true nature is. However, that shows you, you know, he was nurtured by these great people, which I love. Ma and Pa Kent, they're awesome in this movie, and they play a huge part in David Corn Sweat and Superman's, him being who he is, right? And you can see the kindness and the gentleness that he gets from his parents and his father. Fantastic, man. Almost had me tear up a little bit when he was like, "Is he going to be all right, man?" So Superman, of course, uh, after getting turning himself in, gets pretty much put away into a prison in a pocket universe. So Lex Luthor, and I know some people are saying, "Oh, this is goofy." Yeah. So Lex Luthor created a pocket universe where he's able to pretty much get easy access in and out through different countries and different places that he usually goes to. I mean, this is some genius level Iron Man type shit. And what happened was he sticks him in a prison cell with who was another great character I love they introduced, which was the Elemental Man, Metamorpho. And of course, Kryptonite no longer exists in the world. However, Metamorpho can turn himself into any substance uh, on Earth. And of course, he's being pretty much coerced into doing so because they kidnapped his child. His child is, of course, in a prison cell across the way. So, you know, I mean, he doesn't want to do this, but he has to. And of course, Superman, it's drowning the life out of him. And uh, Mr. Terrific, he's fascinated with how Lex Luthor's been able to go into this pocket universe, and he's trying to, of course, hack the system. And I believe this is going to play a huge part into DC going forward. Maybe they do like an Injustice, um, you know, what was the one where it's the reflection? That right there, that's an insane story arc. I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head, but there's no wonders what they could do with Mr. Terrific's going to do with that technology. So Mr. Terrific, of course, he's trying to find Superman, uses his T squares, but finds Superman. Superman, of course, talks to, you know, Metamorpho, convinced I can get your son, I can save you, this and that, right? So, bam, they end up fighting, and they're in this pocket universe fighting, which was kind of cool. And they're like on this river of, I mean, there's a lot of, like I said, it's very comic booky, guys, you know, and from there, you know, Superman's got to tee up, and then that's when you start seeing Superman kick some ass. And when Superman really starts to kick some ass, best parts of the movie, guys. Just absolutely awesome, man. And this is like, man, this is what I've been waiting for. I remember my father saying, uh, when Superman started actually kicking some ass in the movie, my father was like, about fucking time! About time! So it was awesome, man. That was a really cool part of it. But this is going to definitely. I love what James Gunn did. The world building, guys. He established what it is. He did say each project are going to have different tone, which I'm all for, man. Let's do it. So, but this is a tone for Superman. I did like it. Now, a couple things I didn't like. You know, some of the humor that was used or some of the direction. Like there was a one thing in the Pocket Universe. He has monkeys that he has as pretty much like Russian. They're like supposed to be like a Russian bots. They're just sitting there, just bad mouthing Superman all over social media and this and that. Which that's just like so stupid. Like what the fuck is that even about? Like that's just so dumb. But I you know. But overall, though, man, this is a good movie, man. This is a good movie. You'll be entertained. You'll have a good time watching it. You'll like Superman. I promise you. You guys will like David Cornsweet as Superman. You will love Lex Luthor. You'll be like, damn, Lex. You'll love Lex Luthor so much you'll hate him. You know what I mean? Like he's just doing such a good job. You're like, I'm gonna hate this guy. But that just shows you the testament of the actor, and and what he's able to do with the role, man. But I come out excited for what's to come. Now is this movie end all be all? Is this something that like I'd like to tell myself like, hey, well, I'm gonna watch this again. Sure, I'm gonna watch it again. Uh, and that's kind of how I judge a movie, right? Will I watch it again? And I will definitely watch this again, guys. I will definitely watch it again. I gave it an 8 out of 10. I'd still stand with the 8 out of 10. I wouldn't even be mad if it was 7.5, but that's still a good rating for a movie like this. This is I want people to go see it though. I do want people to go see it. I know I'm talking about it, spoiling a lot of things, but I want people to go see it, man. It's a fun movie. It's a fun experience. If you don't like the suit, it won't even bother you. I promise you. Um, Another cool thing, man, you got to see Rick Flag Sr. Now, Rick Flag Sr. we know is going to play a part of Peacemaker too. You even see Peacemaker, a little hit on the TV talking shit about Superman. It's really funny. And then you also have Supergirl shows up at the end, kind of talking shit. Crypto is actually her dog. So I think that's pretty interesting. And then Crypto, man, I forget about Crypto. I'm talking about the rest of this movie, hyping up some other things, man. I forget to even talk about the dog. And that's one of the things I was worried about was this dog just going to be just too goofy? Man, I thought it worked out really well. Crypto, they didn't overuse him. Use them in the right times, and when they did use them, it was kind of funny. Them chasing the T squares. He's like, Mr. Terrific's like, oh man. But it's fun, man. It's a fun movie. You're gonna come out. You're gonna laugh. You're gonna come out saying, "Man, that was a good experience." I don't doubt that. Uh, Now, what's to come after this, man? Right? So we know Supergirl is coming. We're eventually going to get a Batman. We're eventually going to get uh, the new Wonder Woman, right? I mean we're getting different pillar stones coming. We got Supergirl. I think is the next movie that's coming, if I'm not mistaken. Peacemaker's the next project, but then I believe it's Supergirl after that. It's going to be very interesting to see how it all ties in. I can definitely see, like my brother, brother Hunter, he was like, man, I can definitely see how they're going to eventually bring Justice League. It just feels like it. And I think that's really awesome. And that was one of the things that I felt like Zack Snyder didn't do very well. It's like with Man of Steel, it didn't necessarily like they just rushed it. It was very rushed. But you can see where James Gunn he had to establish this world, so there's a part of that, and so yes, it's a little congested, but you know what? It worked overall. I remember my other brother. He's like, man, there's a lot going on. It was a lot going on, but it wasn't overwhelming. It wasn't overwhelming, but it was very fun, guys. But man, that's all I got to say, man. I kind of don't know what else to say about it. I don't want to tell you the whole entire movie, but I definitely want to tell you some huge parts, and which I felt like I did. I told you the entire movie, but let me know what you guys think, man. If you've seen it, If you liked it, let me know, man. Let me know what you guys think down below. Like I said, overall, this movie doesn't come without its flaws. Uh, but is it a good stepping stone? For sure. For sure. But let me know what you guys think. Don't forget to like. Don't forget to subscribe. And of course, it's your boy GMac. I'm out.